Hey guys, it's Kaniak here. I wanted to make a quick video to answer a misconception that has to do with vanity gen addresses. And the reason I want to talk about that for a little bit is some stuff that CSW has said about wormhole and proof of burn. Let's have a look at this for a sec.
And you don't need to burn tokens. And the other thing is you can't actually trust a burnt token. This is what people don't seem to understand.
Mhm.
Um, there are ways of actually doing a script to opt false or whatever else that would be a valid burn token,
Mhm.
but no one does that. They do it to a vanity address or something. Now, the idea is this is too hard for us to ever generate, so therefore it must not be generated and it must pay. But that's actually incorrect. That's taking probability the wrong way around. See, the thing is, you can generate long words, and there are some out there, if you don't care what word you're generating.
So I'm gonna pause right here. So CSW, by saying things like that, you get these kind of misconceptions. So here's a guy called one hyena. He's saying, get this, you're not searching for a single needle in the haystack. Instead, you're searching for any needle in the haystack, and there are many of them. Now, this is completely not true. And if you know how Vanity Gen works, you realize that this is not true. So what is Vanity Gen? Vanity Gen is a piece of software that was created originally in 2011 by Samir 7. There was a little hack first created by Gavin that just worked on the original Bitcoin Core client, I think, and then Samir wrote this program. So, how does Vanity Gen work? If you scroll down here, it kind of explains how it works. So, Vanity Gen uses the same random number generator that normal Bitcoin software also uses. So, you start with a random 256-bit integer, which is just super large number, and then eventually you get this uncompressed public key, and if you take the hash of that, then you get the address. So what Vanity Gen does is it will start with a random number. We'll start with a random number, and then it will increase from that random number. So here it says, Vanity Gen uses the random number generator to choose a private key and literally increments the private key in a loop searching for a match. So it starts with picking a random number here, and then it does +1 on that number, and then it sees if it has found the pattern that it's looking for. So let's show how that works. We're going to look for addresses that start with 1K. So this is still legacy. I haven't played around with the Vanity Gen software for like the new address format, but there's not gonna be too much difference between those two. So just need to add one option here, which is an option, so it will keep on searching. So we're going to do K. So when we run this, now what it is doing, as you can see on the screen here, is that it is generating about 3 million private keys. So basically it's taking this random number and then it is increasing that random number by 1, and then it's looking at what it calculates the hash of that, and then you get the address, and then it looks, oh, is there 1K in this address? No. Okay, we're gonna go to number 2, and it goes to 3 million per second. So if you go to 3 million per second, you're going to find these 4 characters. Now, what CSW was saying, or what people think, is that if you're looking for a specific pattern it's different than when you're just looking at everything it randomly generates and then be like, oh, that's a nice, interesting pattern. Because to get the first one, you need to have the second one. So, like, if I would just, okay, let's use the regular vanity gen for this one. Vanity gen 64 1. And then with the gay. So, now what you're seeing on the screen is just random addresses generated. And as you can see, there's no like 12 queues or 13 queues that are popping up here, or once. We could actually here. Let's write this to file. Oh, let's have a look. What's the one to write it to file? Okay, so we're going to write that to file in that folder test.txt. Okay, so we're gonna let that generate for a little bit. Okay, now we're gonna have a look at the folder here. There should be a text file now. Okay, so this text file has all these private keys in here. So it's showing address and private keys. Okay, well, let's look for a pattern, shall we? Let's see if we can find, maybe let's do a search for bit. There we go. There's one bit. There's another bit. So, you know, finding these, there's so much stuff in here that finding like maybe 1, 2, 3 will probably find as well. Nope. Maybe 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. No, maybe if we do up. Let's look for Kane. There we go. So we weren't specifically looking for anything. And still we found like KAI. Or like, we'll probably find, since this is a post for hyena, we'll probably find there. Well, there's lots of haze in there. Maybe even an E. There we go. Maybe even an N. No, that's too long. But there's 1 4 character, 2 4 characters, haze in there. So if I would want to find a vanity gen address that starts with hyena, all I'm doing is just generating random addresses and then looking for the pattern. So if I'm not specifically looking for the pattern and first just generate millions of addresses and then go look through the list to see if I find an interesting pattern, that's kind of basically exactly the same as in the other direction. So what CSW is saying here, or this claim here, that you simply mine for vanity addresses until you found something that looks like it could be a burn address. Well, can any of these addresses be a burn address? No, of course not, because people are going to say, well, there's nothing special about this address. There's no statistical anonymity in this address. But if we take an address that starts with a couple of ones, here, let's do this. Let's do 4 ones. Just to find addresses that start with 4 ones is going to take 10 seconds. Let's have a run for that. So now it's still exactly doing the same. Like, there's these 4 ones, and I don't know if we had it run for so many seconds, but we can see if we can find 4 ones in here. Nope. There we go. So it took about 30 seconds. Now, if we would go back to our original one, and we're gonna let this run for about the same length time, then, well, of course, these characters will not get written to disk as fast as if it just all does in memory. But if this would go at the same speed as doing it in memory, there's effectively no difference. We could just generate just millions and millions of random addresses and then go search for patterns. Or we could tell the program this is the pattern we want, and then the program basically does the work for us. It will generate all these private keys and then calculate the hash of that, and that hash is then the address, and then look for pattern is an address. If not, it just discards it and it goes to the next one. So let's have this run just a little bit longer. So we specifically searched for 4 ones and we found that about 30 seconds. Now we're going to cancel this here, and we're going to have a look at how big this file is now. So now it's 2,700 kilobytes, so already a big file. So now we've just had the program randomly generate whatever address it wanted, because every address starts with a 1, so it stored every single address in here. And now let's see if we also find 4 ones. No. Maybe 3 ones. Down. There we go. We found 3 ones. Okay. Now let's go back to OCL Vanity Gen. Because that works a little faster. So this is on GPU, which does about on my laptop GPU does about 4 million a second. So let's see what this gives. So that goes quite a bit faster if you do it on GPU. So instead of it taking 30 seconds, it only took like a couple of seconds. Now, let's do 5 ones. Now, it's saying that there is a 50% chance. You could see this enormous jump already. So if we do 4 ones, it's literally not going to take much longer than 10-20 seconds. At the max. You'd have to get extremely unlucky for it to take like longer than 20 seconds. So that one took a little bit longer. But if we go to the 5s here, I'm seeing that we have a 50% chance that we will get lucky within about 10 minutes. And if we go to 6, it's saying that there's a 50% chance we'll find it in about 2 days. 7, 2.5 years. 8, 600 years, or it takes a while before it calculates, about 400 years. Now, of course, this is with very, very slow hardware. If you have fast hardware, it's going to speed it up significantly. But for these people to make this claim that burn address is not safe is total bullshit.
See, it's a combinatorics problem. And if you're saying, I want a word that says Bitcoin is X, then that's difficult to generate. But if you want to say, I want any combination with these letters.
So, this is absolutely not true what he's saying here. Because all it does is just generate random addresses, and then you give the program a list of patterns to look for. So, of course, if I give the program only the word Caniac to look for, and I have a generate, there's going to be a word Bitcoin in there. It's not going to give me a notification, hey, I found the word Bitcoin. Maybe CSW is going to be in there. Maybe the word Satoshi is going to be in there. My program is not going to do anything about it because it's only looking for Caniac. But if it would store all the random addresses that it goes over, he would find everything else in it as well because it's just random. So what I could do is in my in the list of patterns, I could give VanityGen a whole dictionary file. I could give him I could give VanityGen 20,000 words to look for, and then it can all do that at the same time. So, like if I would have it generate for like a whole week only to look for one word, I might as well just put all the words in there, if that makes any sense. So what I'm talking about is there's the option here where you can feed it a list of patterns that it wants to look for. So it says file containing list of patterns, 1 per line. So if we take the same command and now we add so .f to it, file input.txt. Now it is going to look for a text file called input.txt. Input.txt. Now let's take a list of short words, basic words. Okay, and now let's add some words in here. There we go. So one per line. So I'll have to. You can skip this one. This is probably not gonna work. Let's do it. Let's go up with some words, short words ourselves. Short Bitcoin eater, mine, mother, father, sis, bro, super bro, scam, asshole, you, me, done video. All right. We have our list now. Now, there are some characters that are illegal in Bitcoin addresses, which CSW didn't know about, which is weird, because he used to claim that he was Satoshi. So it might give, yeah. Oh yeah, I have to put, of course, the ones in, the number one in front of it, or it won't do anything. And then so it might still give some errors on some of these characters, but we could use case insensitive. So now it's not gonna. There we go. Oh, did I? The file save. There we go. Try again. There we go. So. It's found one me, it's found one bro. It's now looking for all these patterns at the same time. Or rather, it's still doing the exact same thing, just randomly generating addresses, but it only keeps the ones that we put into the program. So as you can see, these ones are easy to find, and you know, if it's, so you found already. So if we would have only searched for bro, it would have only showed bro, and then if we would have done a new search for you, it would have only shown you, and if we would have done a new search for Don, that would all take a lot longer. But if we put the longer words in here, it's not gonna find it because it's just too improbable. It's just pure basic statistics. If we take the burn address, let's see, let's go to the tweet here. Wormhole burn address, wormhole burn address. All right, so that's the amount of ones in the address. So let's put that in here. Paste. So it is 6 to the 26th power of years, which is a really, really, really long time. So this is why on these comments here, see again, it's not the same. To generate the address you want is hard, but to generate billion addresses and search for eye candy is more easy. But you cannot generate an address you want without going through billions of addresses and then look for the patterns. I cannot possibly search for an address with Kane in it without going through the A's and the B's and the C's, because everything will show up. It's just statistically incredibly unlikely to get like these prefixes, and it doesn't really matter what you put in. If you put in like the A's and the A's, it's gonna be Also almost impossible. Well, this one is doable. So you can see that the program calculates it differently for, I don't know exactly why that is. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's quite a difference in difficulty, and I've sent a couple of tweets out. I'd have to log out and go back to my Caniac account. Of course, I'm banned by CSW for saying things that he doesn't want his cult followers to see. But I send a couple of tweets out here because I also want to learn why. Let's see. I asked both Gabriel and Gavin Anderson to explain why these ones are so much harder to find than if we take 5 ones. So I'll take about, and if we take just 1, 2, 3, 4 ace, yeah, the difficulty is a lot lower. And the same with B's. Yep. If you use, let's, yeah, for some reason the ones are the hardest to do. So anyway, again, a super long video, but I hope it's really clear now